Add some life to your lighting in your home. It's Lifx.
Want to live a more illuminated life? It's Lifx, the LED-controlled smart lights for your home.
Welcome everybody, a Spike Studio product review. This time we're looking at Lifx. It is one of the LED, Wi-Fi controlled, app-enabled lighting systems for your home. We're going to look at a single bulb. You can actually have multiple bulbs working together. You can have them in scenery mode. You can have them in different rooms. All sorts of cool things. This one is about 17 watts, I believe. We're going to look at the back to make sure. 17 watt dependent on brightness. It'll do everything from warm white to cool white. It has 40,000 hours of usability time built in. It's equivalent to 1,000 lumens or 75 watts when it's totally worked up. Stays cool on the top. We'll take a look at that. So inside the box, you only get a couple things. You actually get the bulb, and we're going to look at that live, and then you get an instruction book. The instruction book has a couple things that basically says go to URL to get the app and load it up, and off you go to setup. So what we've done is we have both an Android tablet as well as iOS, the iPad. The app on the Android tablet was very easy to find. I searched for Lifx, it came right up, it loaded up. The app on iOS, on the other hand, on the iPad at least, on the iPhone it was easier I found, but on iPad it wasn't easy to find. What I did is went to a URL in a browser, it took me to a link for the App Store and then shot me over to that app. For some reason, searching on the iPad came up with all these other vendors that make add-on things you can do with it. Hook it up to automated systems, you could hook it up to other lighting schemas, all that kind of craziness. The other part about setting up the app, we're on the first screens. What do I like about both of them? They were both easy, quickly installed, they were lightweight. You put in your email address and you go. You never put in a password up front. It actually sends you an email later on. So if by some chance you're like me and you decide to play around with two devices at once, one of them's going to ask you for the password. Well, you don't know what it is because you haven't set up a password yet. You have to actually do a reset, so you need to go and make sure you set up the password online. The other part was the UI on the iPad actually has 4 good welcome screens telling you how to do the setup. I didn't see that on the Android one. It was really weird. This one came right up, said disconnect from your house Wi-Fi, connect to the light bulb system, and let's walk through the setup. We'll put up some images of that. The Android didn't do that. I don't know if that was their fault. So here's what we're going to do is we'll take a quick pause and we'll go through actual setup. All right, welcome back. As you can see, we put it in one of the studio lights here. Now, one thing that you're also going to learn really quick, if you turn it on and it's solid blue, more than likely it may not be ready for setup, meaning you won't see it in your list of Wi-Fi devices. If, on the other hand, you need to put it in, there's a small switch on the side. I mean, I'm talking a tiny switch. I could put it up close, but it's that tiny. You can see it plain as day. You flip it the opposite direction. When we turn on the light, it should now blink a couple different colors and then let us know it's going to be ready for that mode. So there we go. Red, green, blue, white. Now it's in setup mode. When I first turned it on, it was in blue. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and do a scan on here, looking for the actual network. It should start choosing this once the Wi-Fi in here fires up. And what you do is connect to it. If it needs a password, Lifx1234 will work for it. So we're going to go ahead and scan on the iPad. And we're doing this real time so you get an idea of how long this actually takes to do it. And you know what? We'll do it on both devices at once to see who finds it first. I've done a reset on the bulb. I've actually flipped the switch to make it go back to white. I'm looking for a network called Lifx and then a whole bunch of codes behind it. This one just scanned again and it sees nothing. This one keeps scanning and it sees nothing. Now, I don't know if it should take that long to turn on, but it shouldn't to me. There, nope, that wasn't it. That was someone else's Linksys instead of Lifx, someone's router. Real nice of them to have an open router for us though. It was really good of them right there. Someone's TV, we got all sorts of stuff on here. I'm not showing, I'm gonna turn it off one more time. Let it shut down. Like I said, there is the switch, but we're gonna turn it on one more time. Let it fire up and see what we get. I'm actually scanning on both at once looking for this wireless network. Let's see if we find it here in a second so we can do the setup. The idea is I should be able then to set up all the controls, all the alerts, and all the automation for it. There we go. Lifx bulb showed up, so I'm going to connect to it. It didn't ask for a password. It's actually now connected to it. So at this point, you jump back over to the app. Why do I do that? When I was first connected to download the app, I was actually on my home network. Now I'm connected to the bulb directly, so it'll take me to a screen that says add bulbs. I'm going to say add bulbs, connect, it's looking for it. It says select your Wi-Fi network. Now it wants to tell my own device again what network to use. I'll select that. I'll have to put in passphrases and passcodes to get back and tell it how to connect the bulb to the Wi-Fi is what it's doing. The bulb already found it, connecting. So now it's going to jump my device back over. It says connecting your phone to Wi-Fi. I would hope Lifx would change that and say connecting your device back to Wi-Fi, because I may not be on a phone. I could be on a tablet. I could be on a smart stuff. I could be on a whole bunch of stuff is what I could be on. Since I'm doing the setup on the iOS, I'm actually going to get back to the app on the Android in just a minute. Right now it's waiting for the bulb to be discovered. So the bulb is connecting to the home Wi-Fi. It let go of it from the device, and now it's going to put them together so I can control it on side of there. I did this with another system. It took a minute or so for that to work, and there we go. Right now it says claim this bulb to securely control it over the internet with your email account. Location name, what group you want to put it in, and what the name of the bulb is. So at this point, it doesn't matter what any of these settings are. We're just doing a trial setup. I left it the defaults, my home, in my room, and a light name for that bulb. So I'm going to say done. At this point, I can now control this over the internet or in my house as I walk around, but anywhere I am. So I could say all lights in the house or just for individual rooms start doing controls. If I expand it, you'll actually see the bulb itself is on there as well as that. I can turn off the bulb. This is very cool already. I can turn on the bulb, which lights it up. And inside the bulb itself, I can actually now tap to update to get the latest firmware or control some of the things it does. I can spin the dial, change colors. These are in whites. So right now we're in all the whites and soft whites. I don't know how good that's going to come across on the camera, but there's the actual blues. And then you can actually then dim it with a thing in the middle. This is really cool the way this is working. I'm just moving my finger in the middle to dim and to brighten, and then I'm spinning the dial to change the colors. Now if I want to get into colors themselves, I can take it and we'll spin the dial. There's some greens, some oranges, some purples, some blues, some reds. You can get into yellows. You get all this. You can still do the dimming, of course, but you can set these to whatever you want. Also built into this interface is special effects. You can actually do a flicker. You can see the little hesitation. That would drive me nuts. You can have it cycle through all the colors for you as well, which then, of course, will take it through the different ones. You can actually set the time of how fast and how many speeds. You can set down the seconds. Now it's down to like 4 seconds. Variation, maximum brightness as it changes, the color difference. You could set it so it just barely fades between, or it goes between a whole range of colors, which is really cool. That one will drive you crazy too, won't it? Uh-oh. I didn't want to look at this one. Okay, we're going to go strobe. Warning, strobing is recommended for... Yeah, you can make it strobe, and you can hook it up to music. It'll access your microphone and actually pick up what music's coming through and actually change that. So we're not going to allow that right now. We'll turn that off. Other things, smarts. Those are scenes. Those are things when you want to have a whole color set for a room or based upon a picture, what time of day. You can hook this to some of the automated tasks to actually have it go and start dimming at sunrise to match sunset outside. I love all that stuff. That's all cool stuff to me. We'll get back to the whites. We'll set a color. We'll dim it a little bit so I'm not as bright. You can also tap to update the latest firmware, which will take this offline for a minute. So we're going to jump over now. Just for grins, we're going to launch the one on Android. So we're connected right now, guaranteed with that one. We'll launch the Android. It already found my home. It already found my room. It already found the bulb. It says a firmware update is required to use all the features. Well, you know what? We'll do it a little bit later on. Not a big deal. But with this, as you see, well, you know, we'll do colors. It's easier. I can actually now control it with multiple devices. So keep that in mind. I can be logged in from multiple devices at one time, control the coloring, control the lighting, control everything else. Where would you use this? Think of this in living rooms. Think of this in even kitchens in the evening times. Think of this in the bedrooms to have it sunset and sunrise in the mornings to help wake you up because it can work with clocks and timers. Set this to mood lighting for events and parties. Overall, this is like a way of the future that everything's going to start working together. You can group these into a whole room setting or put them, you know, into individuals if you wanted to, if there's one bulb. The bulb itself doesn't get hot because this is plastic and LED. This part gets a little bit warm, honestly, because it's got the Wi-Fi running and other stuff. This does get a little bit hot right here. This, totally cool, can hold my hand. This, not so much. So I wouldn't do that at all. Other parts that you can do inside the app is actually group them together, make your rooms, edit the name of your rooms, add bulbs to it as you grow your environment. It's very easy to do once you get it all connected. You can jump in and add bulbs to the environment. So we want to thank Lifx for sending this over. I'll tell you, this is something that you want to investigate for your home. A little more expensive than contemporary bulbs, of course, but it's all about feature and function. You can buy straight LED bulbs nowadays. Actually, the new studio overhead bulbs are all LED, keeping the studio room a lot cooler than what it was before. But in terms of enjoyment, I think you can have a lot of fun with these as well, and kids could have a ton of fun with these in their rooms and stuff playing with the lights because they're not going to burn them out for 40,000 hours. So I want to thank Lifx for sending it over. Once again, get in touch with them, get on the website. You can order sets, individuals, packages, everything else you want. It's another product review from Spike Studio.